Welcome to my channel. Subscribe, listen and enjoy my stories every day. The sun hangs low in the sky, casting a warm, golden glow over the sprawling resort. Palm trees sway gently in the breeze, their rustling leaves whispering secrets I'm not meant to hear. I lean back in my lounge chair, trying to relax, but there's an unsettling tension coiled in the pit of my stomach. "Are you okay, John?" Laura's voice pulls me from my thoughts. She's standing next to me, her sun hat casting a shadow over her face, but I can see her bright smile. It's the same smile that used to light up my world, but lately, it feels different, forced, like she's trying too hard. "Yeah, I'm fine," I lie, sitting up and adjusting my sunglasses. "Just tired, I guess." She hesitates for a moment, then nods. "I'm going to the spa for a bit. I need some alone time, you know. Just to unwind." The pit in my stomach tightens. This is the third time today she's needed alone time. Yesterday, it was the same. Always slipping away, always needing a break from me. "Sure, no problem. Enjoy yourself." Laura leans down and kisses my cheek. It's quick, almost perfunctory, and then she's gone, striding away in her white cover-up, blending into the crowd of vacationers. I watch her disappear into the main building, my mind racing. This was supposed to be our getaway, a chance to reconnect after months of growing distance. But the more we try to bridge the gap, the wider it seems to get. I feel like I'm losing her, and I don't know how to stop it. The resort is beautiful, an all-inclusive paradise in the Caribbean, where every detail is designed to make you forget the outside world. But as I sit there, surrounded by luxury, all I can think about is how alone I feel. The laughter of other couples floats through the air, a mocking reminder of what Laura and I used to have. "Hey, man, mind if I sit here?" A voice interrupts my brooding. I glance up to see a tall, athletic guy with a friendly smile. He's holding a cold beer, condensation dripping down the bottle. "Sure, go ahead," I reply, gesturing to the empty chair next to me. He drops into the seat with a sigh, taking a long pull from his beer. "This place is something else, huh? I'm Greg, by the way." "John," I introduce myself, shaking his hand. "So, here with the missus?" Greg asks, glancing around as if expecting to see her nearby. I nod, trying to keep my tone light. "Yeah, she's just at the spa. Needed some time to herself." Greg chuckles. "That's how it goes, right? Women and their spa days. My wife's off somewhere too, probably shopping or something. Leaves me to my own devices." We chat for a while, the conversation easy and distracting. Greg tells me about his job back in Chicago, his 2 kids who are with their grandparents for the week, and how this vacation is the first real break he and his wife have had in years. It's nice, having someone to talk to, even if it's just small talk. After a while, Greg checks his watch. "Well, I should probably go find my wife before she buys out the entire gift shop." "Nice meeting you, John." "Yeah, you too, Greg. Enjoy the rest of your trip." As he walks away, I'm left alone with my thoughts again. The sun is dipping lower, casting long shadows across the beach. I check my phone, no messages from Laura. I tell myself it's nothing, that she's just enjoying her time at the spa, but doubt gnaws at me. I decide to go for a walk, hoping it will clear my head. The resort is sprawling, with winding paths that lead through lush gardens and past sparkling pools. I walk aimlessly, trying to shake the uneasy feeling that's been growing inside me since we arrived. As I pass by the spa, I slow down, glancing at the entrance. A few women are lounging in the waiting area, but Laura isn't among them. I hesitate, then continue walking, feeling foolish. Just because I didn't see her doesn't mean anything. I wander down to the beach, the sound of the waves soothing my frayed nerves. The sky is ablaze with color, the sun sinking into the horizon. I sit on the sand, watching the day turn into night, and for a moment, I almost convince myself that everything is fine. When I finally head back to our room, it's dark. The path is lit by soft, glowing lamps and the resort is quieter now, most people having moved indoors for dinner. I reach our door and swipe the key card, stepping inside. The room is empty. Laura? I call out, my voice echoing in the silence. There's no response. I check the bathroom, the balcony, nothing. I pull out my phone and text her, "Where are you?" Minutes pass, and then my phone buzzes. Her reply is short, almost curt, "Sorry, lost track of time. Be back soon." I sit on the edge of the bed, staring at her message. My heart is pounding in my chest, a mix of anger and fear. Something is wrong, really wrong. But I can't confront her, not without knowing more. Maybe it's just my paranoia, or maybe there's something more sinister at play. I don't have to wait long. The door opens, and Laura walks in, a towel wrapped around her hair, a robe loosely tied around her waist. "Hey, sorry about that," she says breezily, as if nothing's amiss. "Where were you?" I ask, trying to keep my tone casual, but I can't hide the edge in my voice. She frowns, her smile faltering. "I told you, I was at the spa. It was so relaxing I lost track of time." I nod, forcing a smile. "Yeah, okay. Just wanted to make sure you were alright." "I'm fine, John. You don't need to worry so much." She comes over and kisses me, but it feels hollow, like she's going through the motions. I want to believe her, but something about the way she's acting is off. I can't shake the feeling that she's hiding something, and it's tearing me apart. That night, we go to bed in the same room, but it feels like we're worlds apart. Laura falls asleep quickly, her breathing soft and even, but I lie awake, staring at the ceiling, my mind racing. I keep replaying the past few days in my head, trying to make sense of her strange behavior. I tell myself it's just a rough patch, that we'll work through it like we always have, but deep down, I know things are different this time. Something has shifted, and I'm terrified that I've already lost her. Eventually, exhaustion overtakes me, and I drift into a restless sleep, haunted by dreams of Laura slipping away from me, into the arms of someone else. The next morning, Laura is up before me, already dressed and ready for breakfast. "Come on, sleepyhead," she teases, her earlier moodiness gone. "We've got a full day ahead of us." I force a smile and get out of bed, trying to push the doubts from my mind. But as we head out into the bright Caribbean sun, I can't help but feel like this vacation is the beginning of the end. And I'm powerless to stop it. Little do I know, the discovery that will shatter my world is just around the corner. The resort's dining hall is bustling with the morning rush, families with children excitedly chattering about the day ahead, couples enjoying a lazy breakfast, and a few solitary travelers reading their newspapers or scrolling through their phones. The air smells of fresh coffee and sizzling bacon, a comforting aroma that momentarily soothes my frayed nerves. Laura and I sit at a small table by the window, the ocean visible just beyond the terrace. She's flipping through the breakfast menu, her eyes skimming over the options, but I can tell her mind is elsewhere. The way she's tapping her finger on the table, slightly out of sync with her usual relaxed demeanor, gives her away. "So, what do you feel like today?" I ask, trying to sound casual. She glances up, her smile automatic but not quite reaching her eyes. "I think I'll just go with some fruit and yogurt. Maybe a croissant." I nod, but I'm barely listening. I'm too busy watching her, trying to decode every subtle gesture, every shift in her tone. Is it just me, or does she seem more distant than yesterday? The waiter arrives, a young guy with a friendly smile. "Good morning. Can I start you off with some coffee or juice?" "Coffee, please," I say, and Laura nods her agreement. As the waiter moves off, Laura leans back in her chair, stretching her arms above her head. "I was thinking," she begins, her voice light, "maybe we should try that snorkeling trip today." The one we talked about. I blink, surprised. The suggestion catches me off guard. It's been days since she's shown any real interest in doing something together. Yeah, that sounds great. I'll go see if we can book a spot. Laura's smile widens, and for a moment, it feels like the old Laura is back. The one who used to laugh with me, who used to share everything with me. But just as quickly as the moment arrives, it's gone, and she's back to staring out the window, lost in her own thoughts. I make my way to the concierge desk after breakfast, hoping that this snorkeling trip might help bridge the growing chasm between us. Maybe being out on the water, away from the resort, will give us a chance to reconnect. As I approach the desk, I spot Greg, the guy I met yesterday by the pool. He's chatting with another man, tall and broad-shouldered, with a deep tan and a thick accent that I can't quite place. Hey, John. Greg calls out, waving me over. Come meet my new friend, Victor. He's a local, knows all the best spots around here. I shake Victor's hand, noting the firm grip. Nice to meet you, Victor. Likewise, Victor replies, his accent heavy, but his English fluent. Greg was just asking me about the snorkeling trips. I used to be a guide here, so I know all the good places. I raise an eyebrow. Really? Laura and I were thinking of doing some snorkeling today. Victor grins, flashing a set of perfect white teeth. You're in luck, my friend. I was about to suggest to Greg here that we all go together. I can show you a spot that's not on the usual tourist maps, much better than the crowded places. Greg nods enthusiastically. Sounds like a plan. What do you think, John? I hesitate for a moment, but then I nod. Yeah, let's do it. I'll just go tell Laura. When I return to the table, Laura is still staring out the window, her expression unreadable. I just met a guy who knows a great snorkeling spot, I tell her, trying to sound upbeat. He used to be a guide here, so he can take us to a place that's off the beaten path. She turns to me, her eyes narrowing slightly. Who is this guy? His name's Victor. He seems nice, he's a friend of Greg's. Laura's expression softens, but there's a flicker of something, relief, that I can't quite place. Sure, sounds good, she says, her voice light. Let's go. We meet up with Greg and Victor by the docks an hour later, the sun already high in the sky, promising another scorching day. Victor has arranged for a small boat, nothing fancy, but it looks seaworthy enough. As we board, I notice Laura glancing at Victor, her gaze lingering a bit too long. My gut tightens, but I push the feeling down. I'm being paranoid, I tell myself. The boat ride is smooth, the engine humming softly as we cut through the crystal clear water. Victor steers the boat with practiced ease, pointing out landmarks as we go, tiny, uninhabited islands, hidden coves, and stretches of coral reef just visible beneath the surface. So, how long have you been living here? Laura asks Victor, her tone casual, but there's a curiosity in her voice that sets me on edge. About 10 years now, Victor replies, not taking his eyes off the water. Came here for a vacation and never left. It's a good life, sun, sea, and the occasional tourist to keep things interesting. Greg laughs. I don't blame you. This place is paradise. Laura smiles, but it doesn't reach her eyes. It must be nice, having so much freedom. Victor glances at her, something unspoken passing between them, and my heart skips a beat. What the hell was that? We arrive at the snorkeling spot a few minutes later, a secluded cove with turquoise water so clear you can see the fish swimming just beneath the surface. Victor drops anchor and helps us into our gear, all the while keeping up a steady stream of conversation. He's charming, I'll give him that, but there's something about him that rubs me the wrong way. We slip into the water, the coolness a welcome relief from the heat. The underwater world is stunning, vibrant coral, schools of colorful fish, and the occasional sea turtle gliding by. For a while, I forget about my worries, lost in the beauty of the ocean. But every time I surface, I notice Laura staying close to Victor, laughing at his jokes, engaging him in conversation. It's subtle, but it's there, a connection that shouldn't be. I try to brush it off, telling myself it's just my imagination, but the doubt is like a splinter in my mind, impossible to ignore. After an hour or so, we climb back onto the boat, exhilarated but exhausted. Victor hands us towels, his smile easy and confident. "Not bad, huh?" he says, as if he's done us a favor by bringing us here. "Yeah, it was amazing," I reply, but my eyes are on Laura, who's avoiding my gaze. Greg is all smiles, clapping Victor on the back. "Man, that was fantastic. Thanks for showing us this place." "My pleasure," Victor says, his eyes flicking to Laura for just a moment too long. The boat ride back is quiet, the earlier camaraderie replaced by a tense silence. Laura stares out at the horizon, her expression unreadable, while Greg chats on, oblivious to the undercurrents swirling around us. Back at the dock, we thank Victor and Greg, making vague plans to meet up later, but I know I'm done with this little group. As we walk back to our room, Laura is silent, her thoughts clearly elsewhere. Once we're inside, I can't hold it in any longer. "What's going on, Laura?" I ask, my voice harsher than I intend. "You've been acting strange ever since we got here." She freezes, her hand halfway to her suitcase. "What are you talking about?" "You know exactly what I'm talking about," I say, stepping closer. "You're distant, always needing alone time, and now you're all buddy-buddy with Victor. What the hell is going on?" Her eyes flash with anger. "You're being ridiculous, John. I'm just trying to enjoy our vacation, and you're turning it into some kind of interrogation." "Enjoy our vacation? It doesn't seem like you're enjoying anything with me," I snap back, the frustration boiling over. "If you don't want to be here with me, just say it." Laura's face crumples for a moment, and I think she's going to confess something, but then she straightens, her expression hardening. "I need some air," she mutters, pushing past me and out the door before I can say another word. I stand there, stunned, the sound of the door slamming echoing in the silence. My mind is racing, trying to piece together what just happened. Laura is hiding something, I'm sure of it now. But what? And how much of it involves Victor? My phone buzzes in my pocket, jolting me out of my thoughts. It's a text from Greg, "Thanks again for today. We should do it again sometime. Hope all is well with you and Laura." I stare at the screen, my hand trembling with a mix of anger and fear. Whatever is going on, I need to find out, and soon. Before it's too late. But deep down, I know that things are already spiraling out of control. And I'm terrified of what I might discover. The air is thick with tension as I pace back and forth in our hotel room. Laura left nearly an hour ago, and I haven't heard a word from her since. My mind is a whirlwind of thoughts, none of them good. What the hell is going on? I know I'm not imagining things, something's been off from the moment we arrived at this resort, and it's only getting worse. I grab my phone and scroll through my messages, hoping to see a text from her, an explanation, anything. But there's nothing. My stomach churns with a mix of anger and fear. I can't stand just waiting here, doing nothing. I need answers. I decide to head to the bar. Maybe she's there, drowning whatever it is she's not telling me in a cocktail. Or maybe she's with Victor, and I'll finally catch them in the act, whatever the act is. The thought makes my blood boil, but I push it down. I need to stay calm, keep a clear head. The bar is dimly lit, with a mix of vacationers lounging around, laughing, and enjoying their drinks. I scan the room, but there's no sign of Laura. The bartender, a middle-aged man with a friendly smile, catches my eye and nods. "Can I get you something?" he asks, wiping down the counter. "Whiskey, neat," I say, sliding onto a stool. As he pours my drink, I glance around the bar again, my nerves fraying with each passing second. Looking for someone? The bartender asks as he sets the glass in front of me. Yeah, I reply, taking a sip of the whiskey. The burn in my throat is a welcome distraction from the turmoil in my mind. My wife. Thought she might be here. He nods sympathetically. She's probably just enjoying the resort. This place has a way of making people lose track of time. Yeah, maybe, I mutter, but I don't believe it. Not for a second. I finish my drink quickly, the alcohol doing little to soothe the knot of anxiety tightening in my chest. I pay the bartender and step out of the bar, the cool night air a stark contrast to the stifling heat of my thoughts. I walk aimlessly, hoping to stumble upon Laura, but instead, I find myself at the resort's beach, the moonlight casting an eerie glow over the sand. The beach is nearly deserted, just a few couples walking hand in hand along the shoreline. My feet move on their own, carrying me toward the water, the sound of the waves crashing against the shore oddly calming. But then, in the distance, I spot a figure standing alone near the edge of the water, the silhouette unmistakable. It's Laura. I quicken my pace, my heart pounding as I approach her. She's standing with her back to me, staring out at the ocean, her arms wrapped around herself. I can't tell if she's cold or if she's trying to hold herself together. Laura, I say softly as I reach her, my voice carrying over the sound of the waves. She doesn't turn around, but I see her shoulders tense. For a moment, neither of us speaks, the silence stretching between us like a chasm. Then, she finally speaks, her voice barely above a whisper. I didn't want you to follow me. Why not? I ask, my own voice strained. We need to talk, Laura. You can't keep running off like this. She finally turns to face me, her eyes glistening with unshed tears. I'm not running off, John. I needed some space. Space from what? From me. The words come out harsher than I intend, but I can't help it. The frustration, the confusion, it's all bubbling over. She looks down at the sand, her expression pained. It's not just about you. It's about everything. Us, this vacation. It's not what I thought it would be. I take a step closer, my heart aching at the sight of her so broken. Then talk to me, Laura. Tell me what's going on. I feel like I'm losing you, and I don't even know why. She bites her lip, her eyes flicking up to meet mine, and for a moment, I see a glimmer of the woman I fell in love with. But then she looks away, her resolve crumbling. I'm sorry, John. I'm so sorry. Sorry for what? I demand, my voice shaking. What did you do? Before she can answer, a voice cuts through the tension, startling both of us. Everything okay here? I turn to see Victor standing a few feet away, his hands in his pockets, his expression neutral but his presence undeniable. My jaw tightens at the sight of him, and something in me snaps. What the hell are you doing here? I spit, stepping between him and Laura. This is between me and my wife. Victor doesn't flinch, his gaze steady. I saw Laura by herself and thought she might need a friend. She has a husband for that, I snap back, anger flaring in my chest. Why don't you mind your own business? John, stop, Laura says, her voice pleading. She steps forward, placing a hand on my arm, but I shake her off. No, Laura, I say, my voice rising. I want to know what's going on. Why is he here? Why are you crying? What aren't you telling me? Victor takes a step closer, his tone calm but firm. John, maybe we should all just take a breath. This isn't helping anyone. I turn on him, my fists clenched. Don't you tell me what's helping. I don't trust you, Victor. You've been hanging around too much, and I don't like it. Victor raises his hands in a placating gesture. I'm not trying to cause trouble, man. I just want to make sure Laura's okay. Why do you care so much? I demand, my voice shaking with rage. You barely know her. Laura steps between us, her face pale, tears streaming down her cheeks. Stop it, both of you. Just stop. We both freeze, the raw emotion in her voice cutting through the tension like a knife. She turns to me, her eyes filled with anguish. John, please. This isn't what I wanted. Then what do you want, Laura? I ask, my voice breaking. Just tell me the truth. She shakes her head, her tears falling faster. I can't. I just can't. Before I can say anything more, she turns and runs down the beach, her figure quickly disappearing into the darkness. I start to go after her, but Victor grabs my arm, stopping me. Let her go, John, he says softly. She needs time. I yank my arm free, glaring at him. This is your fault. I don't know what's going on between you two, but I swear to God. John, you're not thinking straight, Victor interrupts, his tone firm. Go back to your room. Give her some space. You're only going to make it worse if you keep pushing. His words hit me like a punch to the gut, and for a moment, all I can do is stand there, seething with rage and helplessness. But as much as I hate to admit it, he's right. Chasing after her now, in this state, will only drive her further away. I turn and start walking back toward the resort, my mind a jumbled mess of anger, fear, and betrayal. Victor's voice calls after me, but I don't bother responding. I just keep walking, my feet moving automatically, carrying me back to our room. When I get there, I collapse onto the bed, my heart pounding, my mind racing. What just happened? What the hell is going on with Laura? And why the hell is Victor always there, always hovering, like he's waiting for something? I reach for my phone, my hands trembling as I scroll through my contacts. I don't even know who I'm trying to call, someone, anyone, who can help me make sense of this. But as I stare at the screen, I realize there's no one. No one who can help me, no one who can fix this. Because deep down, I know that whatever is happening with Laura, it's already too late to stop it. I throw the phone down, my chest heaving with a mixture of despair and fury. I'm losing her. I'm losing everything, and I don't know how to stop it. And as the night drags on, I'm left alone in the dark, my mind replaying every moment, every word, every look, searching for the answers that seem just out of reach. The realization hits me like a sledgehammer, I may already be too late. The next morning dawns gray and overcast, the sun hidden behind a thick blanket of clouds. It feels like a bad omen, as if the universe is mirroring the turmoil in my mind. I wake up alone in the hotel room, the bed cold where Laura should be. There's no note, no message, nothing to explain where she's gone or when she'll be back. I sit up, rubbing my hands over my face, trying to shake the exhaustion that clings to me like a second skin. My thoughts are a jumbled mess of anger, fear, and confusion. I can't go on like this, something has to give. The only sound in the room is the steady ticking of the clock on the wall, each second dragging out longer than the last. I can't stand it anymore. I grab my phone and decide to do something I've never done before, I'm going to go through Laura's messages. It's a violation of trust, I know, but after everything that's happened, trust seems like a foreign concept. With trembling fingers, I unlock her phone, my heart pounding as I open her messaging app. At first, there's nothing unusual, a few texts from friends, some work-related messages. But then I see it, a thread with a contact saved only as V. My stomach drops as I open the conversation, and the first message I see sends a chill down my spine. V, can't wait to see you again. Last night was amazing. Laura, I know, I can't stop thinking about it. John suspects something, though. I need to be careful. I stare at the screen, my heart hammering in my chest. Last night? When? We were together the whole night, except when she went for air after our argument on the beach. I scroll up through the messages, my dread growing with every word. They've been meeting up, sneaking around behind my back. All the time she needed space, all the time she slipped away, it was to be with him. With Victor. The room spins around me as I process the full weight of the betrayal. I've been a fool, blind to what was happening right in front of me. And now it's all laid bare, the truth as cold and ugly as the gray sky outside. I can't stay here. I can't look at this place, this bed, this room where Laura and I should have been repairing our marriage, only for her to tear it apart piece by piece. I throw on some clothes and storm out of the room, my mind a blur of rage and hurt. I don't even know where I'm going, I just know I need to get away, to find her, to confront her. I end up back at the beach, the same stretch of sand where everything started to unravel last night. It's deserted, the usual vacationers driven away by the looming storm. The waves crash against the shore with a ferocity that matches my mood, and for a moment, I just stand there, staring out at the churning ocean, trying to gather my thoughts. Then I see them. Laura and Victor are standing near the edge of the water, talking in low voices. She's facing him, her back to me, and even from a distance, I can see the way her body leans toward him, the way she's wrapped up in whatever he's saying. It's an intimacy that should belong to me, but it doesn't, not anymore. My hands clench into fists as I watch them, my breath coming in short, sharp bursts. I can't take it anymore. I stride toward them, my feet pounding the sand, my heart pounding in my chest. They don't see me until I'm almost on top of them, and when they do, the look of shock on Laura's face would be comical if I weren't so furious. "John," she starts, but I cut her off. "Don't. Just don't," I say, my voice shaking with anger. I turn to Victor, who's standing there with that same infuriatingly calm expression he always wears. "So, this is it? This is what you've been doing behind my back?" "John, let me explain," Laura pleads, stepping closer, but I back away, holding up a hand to stop her. "Explain? What's there to explain? I saw the messages, Laura. I know everything." My voice cracks on the last word, the pain of her betrayal cutting deeper than I ever thought possible. Victor finally speaks, his voice steady, almost cold. "This isn't how we wanted you to find out, John." I laugh, a bitter, hollow sound. "Oh, really? How did you want me to find out? Were you planning on telling me at all, or were you just going to keep sneaking around, laughing at me behind my back?" Laura flinches, tears welling up in her eyes. "John, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean for any of this to happen. Didn't mean for it to happen." I echo, my voice rising. "You made a choice, Laura. Every time you left me to be with him, you made a choice." She looks down at the sand, unable to meet my eyes. "I know. I know I hurt you. But John, you have to understand, we haven't been happy for a long time. I thought this vacation might help us, but it only made me realize how far apart we've grown. So this is my fault?" I ask, my voice trembling with fury. "You're saying that you cheating on me is somehow my fault?" "No," she says quickly, shaking her head. "It's not your fault. I'm not trying to make excuses. I didn't know how to fix us. And then Victor." I turn to Victor, my hands itching to punch that calm expression off his face. "And you? What's your excuse? You just saw a married woman and thought, hey, why not? Is that how this works for you?" Victor's eyes meet mine, his gaze unflinching. "I didn't intend for this to happen either, John. But feelings don't always follow the rules. Laura and I, we connected. I'm sorry it had to happen this way, but I'm not going to apologize for how I feel." His words hit me like a sledgehammer, the final blow in a fight I never asked to be in. I look between the two of them, the woman I thought I'd spend my life with and the man who took her from me, and I realize there's nothing left to say. The damage is done, and there's no going back. Fine, I say, my voice hollow. You two can have each other. I'm done. Laura's face crumples, but she doesn't try to stop me as I turn and walk away. Victor doesn't say a word, just watches me go, his expression unreadable. As I leave them behind on the beach, I feel a strange sense of finality, like a door closing on a chapter of my life that I'll never revisit. I head back to the hotel, not bothering to go to our room. Instead, I go straight to the front desk and request an early checkout. The clerk gives me a sympathetic look as she processes the request, but I don't acknowledge it. I don't want sympathy, I just want to get out of here, to leave this place and everything it represents behind me. As I wait for the paperwork, I pull out my phone and draft a quick text to Laura. I'm leaving. The marriage is over. I'll contact a lawyer when I get back home to start the divorce proceedings. Don't try to contact me. I hit send and shove the phone back in my pocket, not caring if she responds or not. This is the end of us, and there's nothing more to say. By the time I'm in the taxi on the way to the airport, the reality of what's happened starts to sink in. My marriage is over. The woman I loved, the life we built together, it's all gone. And what's left is a gaping hole where my heart used to be. I stare out the window as the resort fades into the distance, the rain starting to fall in a steady drizzle. The surprise isn't that Laura cheated on me, that much I'd suspected for a while. The surprise is how empty I feel now that it's all out in the open, as if the fight has been drained out of me, leaving only numbness behind. I know this feeling won't last forever. The anger will come back, and with it, the pain. But for now, I just let the numbness carry me through, 1 mile at a time, until the resort and everything it represents is far behind me, a distant memory that I'll never revisit. And as the plane takes off, lifting me away from the island where my marriage died, I make a promise to myself, I will never let anyone hurt me like this again. Laura and Victor can have each other, but they will never have another piece of me. I leave them both behind in the past, where they belong, and I look forward, into the future, a future where I am free from betrayal, free from pain, and free to rebuild my life on my own terms. The clouds part as the plane climbs higher, and for the first time in a long time, I feel the faintest glimmer of hope. The storm is over, and I survived. That's all that matters now.